3 hate symbols were found on Ohio University's campus. Secretary of Health and Human Services Tom Price resigned after controversy surrounding his using of taxpayer money for private flights.
And in sports, it's a football-filled weekend. We'll get you prepared. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Ohio University police are investigating after hateful symbols were spray painted on the campus this morning. Good evening, I'm Chelsea Sick. Thanks for joining us. 2 swastikas were found today on Ohio University's campus and one on a house just steps away from campus. This came just hours before the start of Yom Kippur, a widely celebrated Jewish holiday. The first swastika was spray painted on the sidewalk of Jefferson Hill. The second was inside Glidden Hall, and the third was on the side of the house at 53 Stewart Street. The symbols have all been painted over. The university reported the incident to the Ohio University Police Department. Rabbi Levi Raychick said he wants to focus on the good during the holiday.
Still a lot of work to be done. And on Yom Kippur, we should all think about what we can do to influence something in a small way. I want to focus only on good, especially on the holiday, but if students or community members are concerned about it and want to talk about it, I'll definitely discuss it with them.
Ohio University released a statement earlier today condemning the acts. A pedestrian is recovering after she was hit by a car last night. 19-year-old Jasmine Kroll was taken to Oblinus Hospital with minor injuries. Kroll was crossing Stimson Avenue when a car that was turning left off of East State Street hit her at the crosswalk. The driver of the vehicle was cited for failing to yield to the pedestrian. Athens County Road 25 will be closed for up to 30 days starting Monday. The Athens County Engineer's Office says Rock Riffle Road will be closed for a slip repair project. The road will be closed from Stimson Avenue to U.S. Route 50. It will be open Fridays through Sundays during the repair. Ohio's minimum wage will increase again in January. Employees will receive $8.30 hourly, which is 15 cents more than what they receive now. Tipped employees will receive $4.15 hourly, which is 5 cents more than their hourly pay now. The increase only applies to businesses with yearly gross receipts of over $305,000. Ohio's minimum wage must increase on January 1st each year with inflation. People will have the opportunity to spend some time outside and save money tomorrow. Wayne National Forest is having a fee-free day in honor of National Public Lands Day. Many of the forest recreation sites and multi-use trails will be available for use without a permit. Permits usually range from $12 to $45. And now look at weather with Grant.
What a wonderful day we had today, and compared to earlier in the week, it was just absolutely gorgeous. Not a cloud in the sky, and it was just nice, crisp, fall-like weather today. And temperatures were about 75 degree area range, and right now we're currently sitting at 68 degrees. Our dew point's sitting at 47 degrees, which is the reason why it's feeling so crisp out there, and the humidity is extremely low right now for this time of year. So enjoy that fall weather right now, and now we're sitting at 68 degrees here in the Athens area, 69 in Marietta, 67 in New Martinsville, 68 in New Lexington, 67 in Newark, and our warm spot is actually down in Ironton along the Ohio River at 70 degrees. So right now we're sitting for football tonight at 60 degrees, so cool off a little bit. You might want to grab that jacket as the air is going to be a little crisp, but it is going to be absolutely gorgeous for that for those high school football games, and the winds are going to be from the northwest at 5, so the kickers won't have an issue at all when they kick the field goals and punts tonight. All right, we're going to go over to you, Chelsea.
Thanks, Grant. An Ohio representative is pushing back against the recent NFL protests. Gubernatorial candidate Jim Renacci canceled a scheduled television advertisement for this Sunday's Browns versus Bengals game. He called the Take a Knee protests inexcusable and offensive to the United States flag, national anthem, and veterans. The $20,000 spot will be rescheduled for an upcoming non-NFL event. An Ohio couple will spend 6 months in jail for keeping a veteran's decomposing body in their home. They were stealing his benefits and Social Security. New Philadelphia residents Brian and Stacy Sorohan pleaded no contest to gross abuse of a corpse and theft. Attorneys for the couple say the Sorohans regret what they did. An Ohio sheriff is taking a new approach to the opioid epidemic. Elizabeth Cohen has the story.
For 19 years, I wore this uniform.
Charles Johnson has hung up this uniform for this uniform because of the opioid epidemic. As a deputy sheriff in Lucas County, Ohio, it's Johnson's job to visit overdose survivors in the hospital and try to save them. You're not there to arrest them.
No.
What are you there to do?
I'm there to convince them to live. I'm convincing them that they have a second chance.
Do you think it makes a difference that they see you in a coat and tie rather than a sheriff's uniform?
Absolutely, I think so. For you to go in a uniform, you can offer him all the help in the world. He's going to shut you down.
Every day on average, 6 people overdose in his county.
They'll meet with their dealer up here in this parking lot, and that's where they'll shoot up right here.
On this day, Johnson gets a call to visit a woman in this Toledo emergency room. It turns out he knows her. She's a waitress in a local restaurant.
She's waiting on me and my wife there. I know her personally. These people are overdosing. They're your mailman, they're your neighbors, they're your friends.
More counselor than cop, Johnson promises that his team will drive her to detox.
Her and I made an agreement, and we're going to go for it.
We met at the hospital, and I was laying on that bed, and you showed up and gave me an opportunity, man.
Since 2014, Johnson and his team have convinced nearly 80% of overdose survivors to go into detox, an impressive number according to addiction specialists. You stick around in these people's lives.
You know what? I remember every one of their names. I stop in to visit their homes. I know their families. I visit them in the jails. It's like being a parent to 100 addicts.
You've been to jail 12 times.
Yeah. Every time I got out of jail, I went back to the same thing. Every single time.
Having Charles around, did it make it easier to come off of heroin?
He had faith in me, and he only had known me for 10 minutes. He was like, Cody can do this, he's got this, and he was staying in touch, making sure I was doing the right thing. You know, you working today? Yeah, I'm working, and that's what I like to hear, you know.
Does it take an emotional toll?
Oh, absolutely. You can get really burned out doing this. My phone never stops ringing. People are calling me 24 hours a day. I won't not answer that phone because someone's life could depend on it.
It's that commitment that's been making a difference in the overwhelming addiction epidemic in Lucas County.
And West Virginia can now expect additional support in its fight against the opioid epidemic. Federal authorities have designated Wood County a high-intensity drug trafficking area eligible for support for joint federal, state, and local police enforcement efforts. Other counties with the designation include Brooke, Kanawha, Lincoln, Marshall, Ohio, Putnam, and Wayne. The Cleveland area will see an increase in jobs within the next couple years. Amazon is planning to build a large warehouse in Euclid. They will build a 650,000 square foot warehouse that will employ 1,000 people. The warehouse will act as a fulfillment center where workers will select, pack, and ship customer items. Amazon says the warehouse will be completed in 2019. Cuban diplomats are being sent back to the U.S. after reported health attacks. And President Trump has yet another cabinet position to fill after Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price resigned today. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Hey everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local Gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Tom Price is no longer the Secretary of Health and Human Services. He resigned about 2 hours ago in the midst of the controversy around his use of private planes. Politico reports he has taken 26 chartered flights since May. The trips brought the total cost of Price's travel to over $1 million, including overseas travel. Just before Price's resignation was announced, President Trump said he wasn't pleased with the appearance that another one of his cabinet members was wasting the taxpayers' money. Price pledged to pay back a fraction of the total and wrote a check for more than $50,000. The United States is bringing more than a half of its Cuban embassy employees back to America after mysterious sonic incidents. It's unknown what caused 21 staffers and their families to get headaches, hearing loss, and memory issues. Officials believe it's some sort of health attack. The devices used in the incidents have never been found, but appeared to be a type of sonic weapon that emitted sound waves capable of inflicting physical harm. The U.S. is also suspending the processing of visas in Cuba. The White House insists it's providing all the necessary supplies and manpower for the humanitarian crisis in Puerto Rico, but some on the ground say that's not enough. Omar Jimenez has the details.
The story of Puerto Rico in the wake of Hurricane Maria is a population trying to piece back together their lives alongside a massive recovery effort. Thursday, though, Acting Homeland Security Secretary Elaine Duke framed it a little differently.
It is really a good news story in terms of our ability to reach people and the limited number of deaths that have taken place in such a devastating hurricane.
But good news story isn't how San Juan Mayor Carmen Yulin Cruz sees it at all.
Damn it, this is not a good news story. This is a people are dying story. This is a life or death story. This is a story of a devastation that continues to worsen because people are not getting food and water.
We've got a brigade commander.
Friday, Duke toured the island.
The situation here in Puerto Rico after the devastating hurricane is not satisfactory, but together we are getting there.
President Trump is expected to be there Tuesday.
These are great people. We want them to be safe and sound and secure, and we will be there every day until that happens.
Three-star General Jeffrey Buchanan is on the ground now, leading the military's hurricane response in Puerto Rico, and says they have at least 10,000 people helping with relief, but they need more. It's set to be a lengthy process, while millions are without power, and just as many, if not more, try to figure out what comes next. I'm Omar Jimenez reporting.
President Trump is set to visit the island on Tuesday. The Spanish state of Catalonia will hold an independence vote on Sunday. Supporters of the referendum want the region to separate from Spain. The Spanish government had pledged to stop the referendum, saying the vote is unconstitutional. They are confiscating ballots and sending police to block polling stations to try and stop the vote. Catalan Foreign Affairs Commissioner Raúl Romeva says there is no alternative to voting.
We have very often asked the Spanish government to sit around the table and to talk politically about this. They have never wanted to do so. So that means that actually the only option we have is this one.
Catalonia held an informal vote in 2014 where 80% of voters said they supported independence. 23 Rohingya refugees died after the boat that they were fleeing in capsized in the Bay of Bengal Thursday. The boat was headed toward Bangladesh and overturned while navigating rough seas. 15 bodies were recovered shortly after the event happened, and 8 more were found on Friday. 6 of the casualties were children. On Wall Street today, let's take a look at stocks of local interest. An iconic store here in Athens is closing for good tomorrow. That story's still ahead.
What a wonderful day we had today here in the Athens area. That weather pattern is going to continue to hold like it has much for the past week. And will we have any of those changes in the coming future?
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Hey everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Grant Denman. What a beautiful day we had out there today in the Athens area. We had we're currently sitting at 68 degrees, and with that northwest wind at 5 miles per hour, dew points at 47, so that's kind of helping the air stay a little crisp this evening and kind of keep that fall-like feel to it, with that humidity staying about 36%. Today we had a high of 75 degrees, which is completely different than what we had at the beginning part of the week. Our normal is 71 degrees. Our record is 87. That's kind of closer to what we had at the beginning part of the week. And our low is at 46, which once again was right around that average for this time of year. So for the region, we had 68 here in Athens, 68 in New Lexington right now, 66 is our cool spot up in Cambridge. We even have a 70 degrees down here in Ironton and 69 degrees over in the Jackson area. So for the next few hours, as you actually go out for some high school football, we're hitting at 65 degrees at 7 p.m., 62 at 8, and 60 degrees by 9 p.m. So as the night goes on, you're going to want to grab those jackets as the air is going to continue to get a little bit more crisp and a little chilly. So tonight for football, it's going to be about 60 degrees, clear skies and crisp. Grab that jacket. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous out there and probably one of the better nights for football in the last couple of weeks. So for the overnight, we're going to sit 46 in New Lexington. The warm spot is in Columbus with all the heating in the city. So that's going to keep them a little bit warmer. 49 down in Ironton, 46 in Jackson, 45 in Chillicothe. And over by the river in Marietta and New Martinsville, 48 and 47 degrees. And clear skies absolutely all night tonight. 63 by 8 p.m., 56 by midnight, and 50 degrees by 4 a.m. So just a repeat every night this week. It's going to be 46 degrees, mostly clear and chilly, and not really any change because of this high pressure that is actually sitting over the Great Lakes region. That's just keeping our area dry at the point. So we are going to continue to keep that motion going. That will continue to push off to the east, and we'll begin to warm up as we go into next week. But tomorrow we're going to sit 67 in New Lex, 66 in Cambridge, 68 in Athens, and 67 over in Marietta. Here in Athens, 68 degrees, sunny skies, clear, and fall-like weather pattern is going to continue. And for tomorrow night, 42 in Athens, 43 Jackson, 43 in Chillicothe. So for the weekend, I don't think it can get any better than this. 68 degrees for tomorrow, 60 tomorrow evening, and 72 degrees by Sunday. So just enjoy the weather this weekend, as we're going to hit 68, or actually 76 on Monday, 79 on Tuesday, 79 on Wednesday. And that pattern's just going to continue until late next week with 76 and on Friday with a 40% chance of rain. Over to you, Chelsea. I'm enjoying that weather.
Thanks, Grant. I'm definitely excited. It felt a little bit more like fall today. An Athens staple is closing its door for good tomorrow. Hoffa's Records opened in 1975 and became an icon within the Athens music scene. They sold new and used EPs, LPs, CDs, and posters. Students and community members alike would stop in to find hidden treasures at a great price. Owner Andrew Lampella says the store is closing because of the change in music consumption and location within Ohio.
It's just, this is a pretty small town, and buying records is kind of a niche thing. You know, if it was a bigger city, it might be a little easier to keep it going.
Hoffa's was the last record store left in the area.
Good evening, I'm Mitchell Lyons. This weekend is the 88th edition of the Battle of Ohio, and it's the United States against the world. I'll explain next on Newswatch. And stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus and our school and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
Mitchell Lyons. Every other year, a team of United States golfers takes on a team of international golfers in the President's Cup. This year's United States team is led by Jordan Spieth and Dustin Johnson, while the team of international features Jason Day and Adam Scott. The United States has won each of the last 6 President's Cups, but the international team has confidence they can pull the upset.
I said this morning that, you know, we've got a lot. I don't think we've got a lot of pressure, because I think a lot of people are kind of writing us off already, and we're all solid players. I mean, on our weeks we can beat anyone, and that goes throughout the whole team here.
Through 2 days of action, the United States leads 8 points to 2. The tournament resumes tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock on NBC. The Ohio volleyball team returns home tonight to take on the Miami Redhawks. Reporter Samantha Wiesnett is live at the Convocation Center. Samantha, besides trying to beat their rivals, what else is at stake tonight?
Well, Ohio trails Miami in the Eastern Division with Miami in second and Ohio in third. So a win tonight could give the Bobcats a step in the right direction. Ohio's coming into this game off of a win against Akron, and Miami hopes to turn their luck around after a loss last weekend.
Thanks, Samantha. While the volleyball team is at home, the football team's on the road. The Bobcats travel to Amherst, Massachusetts to take on the University of Massachusetts Minutemen. UMass comes into the game with an 0-5 record, but that's very deceiving. The Minutemen have not lost a game by more than 10 points this year. This is Ohio's last non-conference game of the season, and these two teams have met twice before, and Ohio has won both contests. Kickoff is set for 3:30 tomorrow. The first edition of the Battle of Ohio will feature two 0-3 teams. The Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals will battle it out on Sunday in Cleveland. Both teams are coming off a 3-point loss last week. In an effort to try and get fans to the stadium, the Browns are giving away to each fan a free ticket to Cedar Point. The ticket is good for any day next year. The Bengals lead the all-time series 48-39. Kickoff is set for 1:05. From two teams at the bottom of their sport to a team at the top, the Cleveland Indians have a one-game lead over the Houston Astros for the #1 seed in this year's American League playoffs. If Cleveland gets the 1 seed, they would face the winner of the wild card game. That game on Tuesday will feature the New York Yankees and the Minnesota Twins. Playoff tickets for the Indians American League Division Series went on sale today, and tickets sold out in less than 30 minutes. Cleveland hosts the Chicago White Sox tonight, and first pitch is set for 7:10. And don't forget to tune in to Gridiron Glory tonight at 11:30 for recaps of all the high school games, especially the game of the week, where the Sheridan Generals take on the Philo Electrics. Kickoff is set for 7 o'clock. I'm Mitchell Lyons, and that's all I have for sports. Back to you, Chelsea.
Thanks, Mitchell. It looks like Britain's Prince Harry made a new friend. Take a look at him sharing his popcorn with 2-year-old Emily Hinson at the Invictus Games in Toronto. The Invictus Games are an international sporting event for wounded, ill, and injured servicemen and women. Her father is former Royal Engineer David Hinson, who is a Paralympian participating in the Games. Here's a look at final weather.
What a wonderful weekend we have on hand. We have 68 degrees on Saturday. It's just going to be absolutely gorgeous. That fall-like weather is going to continue throughout the weekend, so go out and enjoy it. Beginning part of next week, we're going to 76 degrees on Monday, 79 on Tuesday, and that sunshine going to continue into Wednesday, 79. Thursday and Friday, the clouds begin to increase as a cold front begins to work into the area, and finally that chance of rain is going to work in, and we have been missing that for about the last month and a half, it seems like. But these low temperatures are going to be absolutely comfortable, so just open up those windows, allow that cool air to come in, and it's going to be an absolutely crisp night throughout the next 7 nights, and it is going to continue to be warm. Over to you, Chelsea.
Thanks, Grant, and that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Chelsea Sick. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next, and remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.